Hello Virgo, welcome to your reading. My name is Maria and this is a tarot intuitive story for you if you have a Virgo anywhere dominantly in your chart, if you're a cross watcher, or something else could have drawn you here and the story could still be for you. You could have a Virgo transit, or for some other reason you're on this frequency of this story. Your reading today starts out with the cosmic womb. It's talking about you contemplating what you want to create, or how you want to create, maybe even why. You have some contemplation, reflection on manifestation and what you want to create in this world and why. And it looks like you're having this whole communion with this very fertile creational space in order to figure out how to use it. And this also, it comes out very much as sort of wanting to learn about how to use the conscious, or to co-create with the conscious universe. And it also comes out as matrix. And I just realized recently that matrix is the actual word, the etymology of the word is that it comes from the basis of mother. And I never made that connection, even though, I mean, when you hear it, it's kind of obvious. And now I feel a little bad about how we talk about the matrix, because, you know, because of the movie, we see it as something sort of negative. But also it reminds me of that movie because I've always liked sort of the overall imagery of the Matrix, but I never really liked the movie itself, and I don't particularly like its message because I feel like it's sort of, because it's so dismal, it completely forgot everything about the joy or the beauty or the communion or the harmony. Like, all of that is completely gone. And the times I've seen it, I was always left with like, but why would you fight for another kind of world if that the world that you're creating is just as dismal or more? And so I think that has a little bit to do with your reading, in the sense that you may have been in a space where you might have kind of forgotten the joy, or you might have forgotten a little bit like why you were doing it, or you maybe never got to the place where it was very joyful. You may have been wanting to create something and then you sort of got stuck in the fight, and you've realized that, and you're wanting to do it differently now. So you've been having a reflection. You come out the Hermit, which is also you, Virgo, your card. So but you have been taking time out to reflect on what you want to create and how. And Spirit is incredibly supportive of that process. I see this one just because of the imagery, where we see this angel that is working really, really hard and very intently on throwing down these feathers, which I see as sort of messages and synchronicities and insights and helpers and all of it. So Spirit is very invested in this quest of yours and really wants to help you. And this card is saying you will from time to time experience immense synchronicities, and when you do, backtrack and find out how it happened, because you'll once in a while you'll think, oh, how did I just create this? And that is a message to you about going back and figuring out, what did I do in that particular situation, or how did I create this exactly? Because it will really show you the way to further manifestation of what it is that you want. And so then the Vanishing Mirror comes out, talking about how in order to become as creational as I think you would like to be and create something really great and joyful, some of your self-image has to leave the scene in some way, shape or form. You're gonna have to let go of some ego or some ideas about who you were or what you were gonna be, so that you can co-create with Spirit, so that you're not the only creator. Because I think you might have realized that doesn't completely work. You know, when you get to be the only creator, there are some things that you miss, you've been missing the mark in some ways, or forgetting something essential. And letting go of some ego is going to help you sort of become more like the universe, right? And that comes out clarified by the world cosmos, talking about you having sort of carried the world on your shoulders, and maybe also being too much in the world, in your thoughts, let's say. Sort of, it could be even just being too much on the internet and taking in too many energies, or just being really psychically open to the energies that are in the world, which is a really complex thing to be in this day and age, right? Because the energies are so intense and aggravating and chaotic. So, I mean, even though the card itself comes out very peacefully, it is as if your head has been filled with like the whole world, with everybody, with maybe a little much, and also things that are sort of in a way too big, or that are just more than maybe one person should be carrying, at least. And instead, this is actually an invitation to find something inside of yourself, because here we see somebody who sort of finds a treasure within a cave, in the depths of their soul, in the depths of their history, or by going into your own very private world, you actually have the opportunity to find something that is sort of the seed of creation. That's something very sacred and mystical, that I think that you are actually looking for. And you might have been looking sort of outside of yourself, and I see a lot of beauty in this, and you have certainly created a lot of beauty, but at this point, something else, something new wants to be born, and wants to be put into this cosmic womb to create a new kind of reality, another kind of reality than the one you already know of. And I think you have been finding this. You may or may not be completely 100% aware that you are actually completely on the right track. You have found something valuable. You're not completely sure how it's gonna take yet. It's sort of like you find the seed, you bury the seed, and you're kind of hoping that it's gonna turn out to be this glorious tree of life, but you don't know yet. But you do have a lot of hope at this point when you find this thing, that maybe this is actually what you were looking for. And then comes the Winter's Dream. This one is talking about that if you see these two cards sort of are in a relationship. So the womb was empty at first, but you have been putting some things into it. Spirit has been guiding you as best they can. And now that landscape is sort of shifting, and things are beginning to grow and gestate and develop within the womb. But it's still winter. It is not yet summer or spring, but it is developing. But this one also, because of these sort of shapes, it comes out with, it was saying golden ratio. And the golden ratio is talking about sort of a mathematical connection between two aspects of some, like a picture or a leaf or something, or even a face. It's something about beauty and harmony through proportion. So for example, in order for something to be beautiful, it has to be this width combined with this length, and that it was much longer, it wouldn't be as beautiful. If it was much wider, it also wouldn't be. So what this is saying is there is some part of you or your journey or what it is that you're working on that needs to be expanded on one axis in order to fit the other. What I see is that you're very masterful at sort of one sort of aspect of what it is that you want to create, but the other aspect has to be stretched a little bit in order for the golden ratio to manifest, for it to be, you know, beauty, harmony, proportion, completely aligned with the universe. And I think you might not completely have known this, or you might not have, I feel like you have, your question is, but how is it, what is it, what are we waiting for? I've already been doing this work, I've been asking questions, I've been finding the thing in the cave. But this card is saying, yes, but we need to stretch you a little bit in a way that you're not completely used to be stretched in order for the golden ratio to manifest. And I see you sort of dreaming about summer. Here you sit in a lotus pose and dreaming about the sun and wanting that winter phase to be over. But this one was looking to me like a kaleidoscope today. So it's, if you don't know if people know about kaleidoscopes today, it was a thing that was in my childhood where you sort of look through this pipe and you can turn it, and there are these sort of specks of geometric figures and light that shift, and so you can turn it and it shifts, and it's kind of fun for like 30 seconds, and then it becomes a little dead. And I feel like that's actually you're dreaming about the future, and it does entertain you a little bit, but actually it's not very, it doesn't have a lot of life to it. It's sort of like your dreaming becomes, also a kaleidoscope is made out of bits of glass and mirror. So it's sort of like a mirroring of something that you are in this now moment that you won't actually be when you get to the actual summer. So it's not, you can't actually perceive your future as it is going to be once this unfolds organically. So this is a little, I mean, you're dreaming about it, but it's actually not really, it doesn't have life. It's a little too much in sort of a frame. I hope I'm making myself clear. And so actually, I think it is inviting you to not be so focused on that future. So even though, you know, you want to go places and you want to create, but here is the important thing. This that is unfolding here is very important, and also because it's so alien. If you look at this picture, it's really very clearly something is unfolding that is not normal, or that is not that is not even necessarily of this world, and therefore it would really like your full attention, because it's unfolding in ways that you would not be able to predict. And actually it would be great if you were present in it, instead of looking at this kind of kaleidoscopic sort of a little I can't find the word, it's just like sort of mechanical future that is not actually how it's gonna be. Because this very clearly is not going to lead to this. This is going to lead to kind of something much more spacey. And you come out with the patience card then. And what I was noticing today about this was this clock that she has on her chest, which speaks to me about a timing in the body. So, I mean, if we're actually talking about a pregnancy, and a pregnancy could be a physical, actual pregnancy with a child, this makes 100% sense. But it could be another kind of pregnancy with like your new life, or your something else you want to create, any creative project, like actually anything you want to manifest. It's talking about it, and it does have a timing to it, some timing aspect. And you really want to reach for it. I mean, you want to work for it, you want to reach for it. I see you here sort of, this says, in the hand, the universe is your partner. And I see you grabbing at this sort of future potential, or this future, this creational project, your future life maybe. And it's sort of like it's continuously sort of not manifesting completely. So it all the time it sort of slips out of your hand, or you never really reach it. And you, I think you, I'm not completely sure what this is saying, because it has been coming out in some readings talking about sort of a chrysalis, being in the chrysalis and the cocoon. And so you could be still sort of cocooning and not completely, but it does look like today in this card, like you are really on your way. Like this is the butterfly more or less on its way out of the cocoon. So that could really be where you are, like you're actually in the middle of the breaking out of it now. But this also came out today with furious dancing. So, but you know, you could be actually furiously, if you know that expression, furious times require furious dancing. You could be doing that, but it sort of, to me, it seemed a little bit like furious dancing of the mind. Like being unable to completely take this into your hand for a while is sort of grating on your nerves, and you're getting a little more furious. But it's almost like that furiousness is it's not destructive. It is pushing on the cocoon to break it, and actually is doing you a lot of good, because it's getting you out of the situation, or it's moving you forward. Even though it might not be 100% comfortable, it's like that sort of furious energy is what you need. You need it at this point to break the cocoon and the chrysalis and to move forward. And it's also, it's talking about, this one comes out, So there's this first, and this is how you see it. You see it as you want to grab something, and it's all the time sort of right directly out of your grasp. But what it really is that it's a mentor. And actually another person could also be involved here. So if there's somebody who kind of escapes your grasp time and time again, it could be because they want to teach you something. They're here to show you something unexpected, something other than what you think. And this comes out initially as like kind of, because just a perspective, like we look up at this big, is it called a deer when they have the antlers? But it does look a little overpowering at first. But when you look closer at this picture and the face and the eyes, it's very, very gentle. It's very innocent, but it doesn't yield. It's innocent, but it's somehow inescapable or immovable. So there is sort of a truth or a person or a mentor that wants to show you something in this now moment, in this present moment where you are while you're gestating, that you can keep trying to grab for that thing that keeps escaping you, or you could stop and listen to what this one is saying, and you will have to sooner or later. Is kind of the message. Is you can do this, and it is also an important part of the journey, but you can also listen in to what this particular moment in time is trying to teach you. Because if you stand still and you accept the fact that this thing that looks at first very overpowering and stern, but is actually very innocent, but then innocent in a way that is also immovable, that is actually very powerful. You can't escape this truth. If you stay there, you will have an enormous breakthrough, a crazy breakthrough. It's almost like you've been moving forward, and to some extent it's true that you need to move forward, but maybe it's a timing thing that you have. If you can stay in the now, it's almost like you will tap into a new frequency. It's like if you go into slowness, you'll switch quantum frequencies. Just like it's almost like falling into a wormhole and then being teletransported into like another dimension, a completely other quantum reality. This was coming out with splitting the atom, sort of just you've been doing something that is very difficult, potentially actually also kind of dangerous, but is able to unleash enormous amounts of energy and move things that you didn't know were able to be moved, actually kind of change your whole reality. But it's sort of like there's something about this one, this immovable innocence, that requires you to be very still and listen in. And it's sort of you pass through the wormhole, you go through the eye of the needle, and it just, the whole thing opens and you step into a reality you didn't even know might have not even known existed. You, maybe in your soul you kind of had a feeling of it, but you did sort of approximate, you have been approximating what your future could be, but see, in a way, this is really boring compared to this one that is just so luminous and has so much momentum and movement in it. So the future that is actually possible for you is coming in another way than you thought it was, and it's looking quite a lot more amazing and adventurous than you thought. So there's sort of a, like, standing still is the ticket. And directly after this, and also this is the lost compass. So it's sort of like you finding your true north. And we started out with you asking questions about what you needed to manifest, or how and why. And now it becomes clear as day. Like it's not even a question about anything anymore. You're just in it. You're just moving towards it. You're one with it. And then you standing here with this card, the Two of Materials, that looks like you in ecstasy, becoming the master of two worlds, because you both then are able to travel through this amazing wormhole, but it's like you're also still completely attached to the earth, to the quantum reality that you came from, because you've created sort of a bridge or a portal so you can move through the two. And I see you here sort of straddling both of them, just being this incredible master of the two worlds. And this then comes out described, ending your reading with these two, with you being this quantum traveler that can just put on your space helmet and go to the Pleiades or whatever other universe or galaxy you want to go to, and gather all of this alien, ancient wisdom, technology, whatever it is that you get, and then being the light bringer that brings it to Earth. This one coming out sort of as a Lucia bride. I don't know if you have that tradition anywhere else than in Scandinavia, but it's sort of like the light bringer. So you being able to be both of these two consciousnesses, and being able to move both in this completely super technology, space traveler, quantum straddler energy, and then this one bringing the light to humanity, bringing, opening the eyes and sharing what it is that you found. So you get quite a lot more than you bargained for, very clearly, and that would explain why it's taking a little bit of time, and why the gestation is sort of so foreign to you, because it is actually taking you to something that is very spaced out, but then that will give you and everybody such an amount of value when you're able to move in between these quantum realities and bring big things back and forth. It's really stunning. So I hope you enjoyed your reading, Virgo. I certainly did. It came down with a lot of great sort of I had to do a little bit of research, because all of these things came down with the golden ratio I didn't completely remember, and the splitting of the atom and all of it. So I know that's always a big joy for me when I get to go down some Wikipedia rabbit hole. So thank you very much, Virgo. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for being here. If you did enjoy, please leave me a like, comment, or a subscription. See you back again soon. Bye.